Welcome to Module 2, Added Features and Settings. Click Next to begin the tutorial. In this module, you will learn how to create a password for participants to enter in order to access your survey, to display or hide question numbers, to give your participants the option to save their progress and return to finish taking the survey at a later time, to link multiple surveys together, to recruit additional participants, and to use the concatenate feature in Excel to create unique survey URLs for each participant. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. You can move directly to a particular section of the tutorial by clicking on the section title. Click Next to continue with the Survey Password section. In this section, you will learn how to create a password for your participants to enter in order to take the survey. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. We're going to create a password for participants to provide in order to access the survey. To do this, select the Settings link from the Manage Surveys page. The Setting page appears. Select the text box and enter a password. Now your participants must enter this password to access the survey. Remember, you will need to give them the password. Click the Submit button to save any changes to your survey. This box notifies you that your changes have been saved. Now let's see how this works from a respondent's view. The participant can either click on a link to the survey or enter the survey's web address into a browser. Remember to provide your participants with the password when you give them the link to the survey. The PsychData online survey page appears. The participant selects the text box and enters the password, and clicks the Submit button. The participant can now take the survey. In the Displaying Question Numbers section, you will learn how to choose whether to have PsychData automatically display question numbers or to enter them manually. We will explore when it is beneficial to use the generated question numbers and when it is best to number questions manually. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. We're going to look at the benefits of displaying or hiding question numbers. To do this, select the Settings link from the Manage Surveys page. Notice the Display Question Numbers is checked by default. As you're creating your survey, the questions are automatically numbered for you. This is convenient, but what if one question has multiple parts? By hiding the question numbers, you can enter the numbers manually to suit your question format. This will allow you to label questions as sets, such as 12A, B, C, and D, rather than 12, 13, 14, 15. Remember, if you choose the Hide Question Numbers option, then you will have to insert the question numbers as part of the text of each question. Click the Submit button to save your changes. We can see that the changes have been saved. Let's look at some examples of displaying and hiding the question numbers. Here are two examples of the same survey as seen by a participant. The survey on the left is displaying the question numbers, while the survey on the right is hiding the question numbers. The question numbers shown in this survey have been manually entered by the survey creator. The surveys look pretty similar here, so let's scroll down and examine the differences. Again, the left is using the Display Questions Number setting, while the right is using the Hide Question Number setting. Here, each beverage has its own question number. However, all of the beverage options are actually part of one set of directions. Hiding the question numbers allows you to manually add them where you see fit. Here, the survey creator assigned letters to the beverage options, making them all part of the same question. Let's look at another example. Again, this set of questions shares the same directions. The survey creator grouped several questions into one question and assigned letters to each food option. This reorganizes the question and decreases the total number of questions in the survey. Although the survey contains the same questions, the survey with the hidden question numbers appears to have fewer questions. So using the Hide Question Number feature is very useful to making a survey appear shorter to participants. In the Save and Return section, you will learn how to allow participants to save and return to a survey that they've already started. This feature is only useful for surveys that have multiple pages. When a participant returns to finish the survey, he is directed to the next page of the survey and cannot return to a partially completed survey page. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. Now we're going to explore the Save and Return feature. To do this, select the Settings link from the Manage Surveys page. To activate the Save and Return feature, click the drop-down menu and select On. This accesses a new set of options. The email address option is useful if your survey requires a password. Participants can request to have a forgotten password emailed to them. A more anonymous option is for participants to register with a nickname. Using a nickname also requires the participant to enter a password. The downside of the nickname is that a lost password cannot be retrieved, whereas it can with the email registration. The nickname is truly anonymous, though it can be used for things like a predetermined unique ID number. There are many different ways participants can register. You can even choose what kind of information you'd like your participants to provide to ensure anonymity. Enter the information for unique items you would like to collect for login, and select the checkbox next to the options you'd like to include. Always remember to submit your changes. Your changes have been saved. Now let's see how this works from a participant's perspective. The participant can either click on a link to the survey or enter the survey's web address into a browser. The PsychData online survey page appears. New participants select this button, and participants provide the requested information. And then clicks the Submit button. When the participant clicks Submit, a reminder appears to be sure that they have completed the page before clicking the Save and Exit button. And now the participant can take the survey. This is a multiple page survey with a page break after question 3. The participant can click here to continue to the next page of the survey, or if the participant is unable to finish the survey in one sitting, she can click the Save and Exit button. If she chooses the Save and Exit button, the reminder appears saying that by choosing to save and exit the survey, all responses on the page will be saved and she will be taken to the next page when she returns, giving the respondent an option to cancel and return to the survey if needed. The participant's progress is saved. Now the participant would like to go back and finish taking the survey, so she clicks the survey link. She returns to the survey's website and selects the Returning Participants option. She enters her registration information and clicks Submit. The reminder box appears and she clicks OK. The participant starts on the next page of the survey. If the participant does not complete all of the questions on the page before clicking the Save and Exit button, any remaining questions on the page will be left blank. Again, when the respondent clicks on the Save and Exit button, the reminder box appears, giving her the opportunity to finish the page before she exits. This participant did not finish all of the questions on the last survey page. What would happen if she tried to log back in to answer the remaining questions? She clicks as a returning participant and enters her login information. And when she clicks Submit, the reminder box appears. She clicks OK. As participants are unable to return to a partially completed survey page, any unanswered questions on the survey page are submitted as such and cannot be revisited. If they return to log in and continue the survey, they will start at the beginning of the next page of the survey. In this case, the participant chose to save and return on the last page of the survey. Therefore, the participant cannot start on the next page, so they cannot revisit this survey. With the Save and Return feature, you can also check on participant progress within the survey. On the Manage Surveys page, a View Report option is displayed only for surveys that utilize the Save and Return feature. Select the View Report link, and the View Activity Report page appears. This section provides overall participant progress information, such as the number of completed versus incompleted surveys. This section details the information by breaking it down by participant login names. This column displays information for completed surveys by the participant's login name. It shows when the participant started the survey, the date they submitted their survey answers, and the time elapsed while he or she took the survey. This column displays the same information for incomplete surveys. Participants in this column have saved their survey progress and can later log in again to complete the survey. And participants in this column have registered to take the survey but have not answered any questions yet. In the section on survey linking, you will learn how to link multiple surveys together. There are two kinds of linking, direct and random. Direct linking is useful when you want everyone to end one survey and go to another. This may be where you want to collect the information but do not want the data tied in the same database, for example, a consent form or incentive. A similar effect to direct linking is also achieved by using question logic, which you can learn more about in Module 5. Random survey linking allows you to randomly assign participants to go to any number of surveys after they finish the current one. This can be useful when you want participants to start off at the same place, like a consent form, but then to take one of 3 versions of your main survey. An important thing to remember is that regardless of what type of linking you choose, you need to have participants enter a unique ID in each survey so that you can connect the pieces together. Just because a participant is row number 1 in the database of the first survey does not mean that they will be the first row of the database for the linked surveys. You must collect an identifier in all surveys to match a respondent's data across. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. Again, linking surveys is useful when using a consent form or an incentive. First, let's explore how to directly link specific surveys together. From the Manage Surveys page, select the Settings link, and the Setting page will appear. Scroll down to the Survey Linking Direct or Random option, and from the drop-down, select the Direct Link item. And a new option appears, allowing you to choose the exact survey you'd like participants to take after completing the first survey. Upon completing the first survey, participants will make a seamless transition to the next survey without knowing that it is separate. The transition between the 2 surveys appears as a page break. In this example, we are linking this survey to an incentive form where participants will provide their personal information to enter a drawing to win a gift card. Because IRBs do not want identifying information tied to a participant's answers on a survey, the direct linking option can allow you to collect both pieces of information but stored in separate databases. Be sure to click the Submit button. The green box confirms that your settings have been updated. Now let's look at it from a participant's perspective. The participant has finished the first survey and clicks the Continue to Next Page button. And the participant is directed to the linked survey. Notice that the transition between surveys appears the same as a page break within the same survey. Now we will link surveys using a random assignment. From the Manage Surveys page, select the Settings link. This time we will select the Random Assignment option from the drop-down. And a new option appears with a list of all the surveys in your account. Select multiple surveys to provide options to where your participants could be randomly directed. and click the Submit button. Now let's look at it from a participant's perspective. Both of these participants are finishing the same survey. Participant A clicks Continue to the next page, and Participant B also clicks Continue to the next page. Each participant is randomly linked to one of the other surveys we had selected. Participant A was directed to Sample Survey 2, while Participant B was directed to Sample Incentive. Neither is aware that this section of the survey is randomly assigned. Because these are separate surveys that are linked together, the data collected for each of these surveys will generate in separate data files. However, you are able to match the data from the two surveys together through the Linking ID option. To match participants between linked surveys, you will need to select the data link to download the data. We will cover data options in more detail in Module 3. The Linking ID is a numeric identification code that is common for all surveys linked to this survey, so you can connect participants' responses between surveys. Ensure that the Yes box between Display the Linking ID is checked. This will create a Linking ID column in your data file so you can match participants' responses between the two surveys. More information regarding the Linking ID feature is found in Module 3 under Data Options. In Section 5, you will learn how to capture custom query string values, which are unique identifiers found at the end of URLs. This is useful in collecting a participant's pre-assigned identifying information. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. The Capture Custom Query String Values allows you to collect pre-assigned participant information. For example, if you pre-assigned an ID number to each participant, you can attach that to the end of the URL of your survey so that when each person is invited to the survey, they are invited to the same survey with their unique ID. In this example, we used label 1 as our query string. Suppose you had a list of 50 contacts, and you wanted to know who completed the survey and who didn't, without asking for their name or email. You can assign them an ID number attached to the end of your URL. The URL is sent to each person, and the ID is captured in your dataset when they take the survey. This way, you know who took the survey and who didn't. This also allows you to see if someone took the same survey multiple times by repeatedly clicking the same link. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. From the Manage Surveys page, click Settings, and the Settings page will appear. Scroll down to Capture Custom Query String Values, and select the On item. Then select the checkbox. You can choose a label here that will appear before the ID numbers at the end of the URL. Most researchers use only one label. You might use multiple labels if you would like to keep track of who is taking the survey by region. For example, suppose we only have 15 participants and we would like them to recruit more participants. We will assign each participant from our initial small group to a team and have them distribute links to the survey. To keep it simple, we will name our teams after colors. Therefore, we will be capturing team color. To encourage our group to recruit as many participants as possible, we are offering an incentive for the team that recruits the most participants. We can keep track of how many participants clicked on each team's link so we can determine which team will earn the incentive. After entering the query string team color, click the Submit button. To view the URL for distribution, select the Publish link from the Manage Surveys page. The Publish Survey page appears. Copy the link and edit as needed. Type over Enter Data to insert the desired ID numbers. You can do this easily in Excel by adding this survey's link into a column in Excel with the unique color names for each participant in the next column, and use the Concatenate feature to combine the two cells for each participant. Let's see how this is done. Now we will explore how to use Excel's Concatenate feature to create unique URLs for each participant. In our example, we're using unique URLs for each team leader in order to keep track of how many participants each team leader recruits. From the Manage Surveys page, select the Publish link. The Publish Survey page appears. Copy the URL and paste the URL into cell A1 of your Excel sheet. You can double-click on the border of each column heading to stretch the column to fit the cell's contents. Enter each unique identifier into a different cell in the B column. Then copy the URL and paste it down the A column. Now we're going to merge columns A and B to create the complete and unique URLs for each recruiter. Type the equal sign and CON into cell C1. When the drop-down menu appears, double-click the concatenate item. Type the cells that you wish to combine in the following format: A1, B1. Click on the small square on the bottom right corner of that cell and drag it down to use the same formula for each row in the column. The formula is now applied so that each row from column A and column B have combined into unique URLs. When we scroll to the right, we can see each URL in its entirety. Now onto the task of emailing each team leader their own unique URL. In this example, it would not take much work to send an individual email to each team leader. However, some researchers use this feature for sending a unique link to each individual participant in order to keep track of who has taken the survey and who should receive an email reminder. In that case, each participant would have a unique row ID number instead of the team color example used here. When you download the survey data, you can see which URLs have been used to complete the survey, which ones have not, and which ones have been used multiple times. In order to send a mass email with unique elements, such as recipient's name and unique URL, you could pay for a mass email service or tool. Microsoft Outlook also has a mail merge feature that works just as well. The first thing we need to do is clean up our Excel document with the participants' names, emails, and URLs. We have inserted 2 new columns for name and email address here. We also added a row here to label each column. We left these 2 columns because our web address column pulls information from columns A and B to complete the formula. This is the information that we ultimately need to send our emails. We must save the file as a comma-separated values or CSV file in order to import it into Outlook. Click the Save As button, and the Save As dialog opens. Select the Save As type drop-down box. Scroll down to select the CSV item, and name your file here. Then click the Save button. Click the Yes button for this automatic message. Now we will close this file and open Outlook. Once in Outlook, select the File menu. Select the Import and Export menu item, and select the Import from another program or file item, and click the Next button. Select the comma-separated values for Windows item, and click the Next button. You can locate the CSV file by clicking Browse if it does not already appear. Then click Next. Select Contacts here and select Next. Click the Map Custom Fields button. This shows us where the values from the CSV document will be inserted into the contacts file. We purposely named our columns in the CSV file to match the corresponding fields in Outlook. The Mapped From heading shows where the information is pulled from the CSV file, and the field heading shows where it is inserted in the contacts profile in Outlook. Click the OK button and the Finish button. Our email recipients are displayed here. The desired information from our CSV file has been inserted into every recipient's contact profile. We can quickly select multiple contacts with a more efficient view. Select the View menu and select Current View. Then select the By Category menu item. Then select all of your email recipients and select the Tools menu. Select the Mail Merge menu item and the Mail Merge Contacts dialog opens. Select the Mail Merge Contacts combo box and select the email item. Type the desired subject line for your email here. Click the OK button and click Select Recipients. This opens a new document in Microsoft Word. There is also another way to add the email addresses without importing them into your Outlook contacts. Simply open a new Word document and click on the Mailings tab. Select the Use Existing List menu item. The Select Data Source dialog opens. Select the item containing your email contacts and click the Open button. This will send the emails that are addressed based on the Excel spreadsheet without adding the addresses to your Outlook account. For the email's text, PsychData automatically composes a sample email that you can edit and use. The sample email is located by selecting the Publish link from the Manage Surveys page. The Publish Survey page appears. Select and copy the sample text. Then paste the text into Word. Edit the message to suit your survey. Also delete any text that will be unique to each email recipient. Then click the Greeting Line button. You can adjust the greeting line format here and preview what the personalized greeting will look like here. When you are satisfied with the personal greeting, click the OK button. Clean up the format as needed. Then choose where you would like to insert the survey's link. Click the Insert Merge Field button and select the web page item. Click the Insert button and we can see that the web page has been added to our email. Then click the Close button. To see how the email will look, click the Preview Results button. Click the Next button to preview how it will appear to other recipients. Now we are ready to send our emails. Click Finish and Merge and select the Send Email Messages menu item. The Merge to Email dialog opens. Verify that this information is correct for your survey. Then click the OK button to send your emails. In Section 6, you will learn how to give participants the option to send an email invitation to another person, inviting them to participate in the survey. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. First, locate the survey and select the Settings link from the Manage Surveys page. The Settings page will appear. At the bottom of the screen is the Enable Survey Recruitment option. Survey Recruitment gives participants the option to send an email invitation to invite someone else to take the survey. The email invitation can direct them to the survey the participant has just taken or to a different survey in your account. From the drop-down menu, choose the survey you want participants to enable recruitment for and click the Submit button to save your changes. This confirms that your changes have been saved. Now let's see how this looks from a participant's perspective. The participant finishes taking the survey, and the thank you page appears with the option of inviting someone else to participate. The participant enters the appropriate information and clicks the Email this invitation button. This confirms the invitation has been sent. The End of Survey Custom URL Redirect gives you the option of showing a custom conclusion page or redirecting the participants to another URL at the conclusion of your survey. Click Next to continue with the tutorial. From the Manage Surveys page, select the Settings link, and the Settings page appears. At the end of the survey, you have the option of directing your participants to either a standard conclusion page, which includes text, respondent ID, and optional survey recruitment, or the participant can be directed to a specific URL via the Custom Redirect feature. First, we will look at the standard conclusion page option. The Manage Surveys page appears. Let's look at the survey's current conclusion and add some text. The Editing Example Survey page appears. Click the Edit Survey Conclusion button. Enter the message you would like your participants to read after completing the survey. Click the Submit button. Now let's see how the conclusion text appears to participants when taking the survey. The participant finishes the survey and clicks the Continue to Next Page button. And the Thank You page appears. Here's your conclusion text. Now let's direct our participants to a specified URL after they complete the survey. From the Manage Surveys page, select the Settings link, and the Settings page appears. We are going to direct our participants to a specified URL after they complete the survey. Select the radio button beside Custom Redirect. There are a few validation checks to ensure that the feature will work. If we click the Submit button before entering the URL, this error message appears to remind us of the proper URL format. Select the text box and enter a URL beginning with HTTP or HTTPS. So we enter our URL here. Before clicking Submit, note that we still have the Survey Recruitment feature enabled, which also appears at the conclusion of the survey. Because both occur at the end of the survey, we cannot have both Survey Recruitment and Custom URL Redirect enabled. Let's see what happens if we don't turn off Survey Recruitment feature. This error message informs us that both features cannot be used at the same time, which may cause the Enable Survey Recruitment feature to be bypassed. So we will turn off the Survey Recruitment feature. Now we can click the Submit button. The Manage Surveys page appears, and we have confirmation that the survey settings have been updated. Now let's return to our survey to see how the conclusion will look. The Editing Example Survey page appears. The Edit Survey Conclusion button is now disabled because participants are redirected to the URL instead of viewing a survey conclusion page. Now let's see how it looks from a participant's perspective. The participant finishes the survey and clicks the button to submit his or her responses. Instead of taking the participant to a conclusion page, he or she is redirected to the chosen URL. Congratulations, you've completed Module 2. Go to PsychData.com to continue with another tutorial.